Hi everyone, this is AI in Agriculture and our traditional podcast called I Asked AI. In this podcast, we are asking different publicly available LLM models. Actually, it's not purely LLM because they are multimodals, because LLM means large language model, but in fact, these models which are currently available, they are not just LLM, they can do everything else, including work with videos and audio. So we are asking publicly available AI models to do some things. Either in previous sessions, we were asking to show how specific conditions and pests look like, but today we have a special topic, and this topic is about accuracy of measurements, counts, and other assessments which can be done using the specific list of these models. So our I Asked AI today is about grains and about specifically wheat kernels. So we are counting as well as measuring the dimensions, the width and length of wheat kernel, and trying to assess how accurate they are performing. As usual, I'm taking my documents which I have published on LinkedIn yesterday, as I remember, but time flies so quickly, I already forgot when. So recently I published it on LinkedIn. So this is one of the documents, and this is on the screen how it looks like. So traditionally we, in previous sessions, I showed like AI generated imagery and the original imagery which was either collected somewhere or it's real imagery. In this case, today, we are not focusing on any type of photographs of any type of visual proof, but we are thinking about the numbers, and that's why one by one, model by model, we are assessing it. So basically this is the imagery which is illustrating, and it's the input of what I have prompted. So additionally to the initial photo, I also added some prompts what I would like to get from the model. And one more thing regarding benchmark. So benchmark in our case, it's PTL Pro. Yes, I think I will place probably here, there will be the screen, the slides, and in my case I will show you here how it looks like on my device, because it just support for me not to mess the order of all these slides. So regarding benchmark, PTL Pro has been chosen, as you can understand why, because we have created this model which is customized and specifically fine-tuned for the task of counting and measurements of the wheat kernels. And also you can see the presence in this previous imagery. You can see the presence of calibrating plate, and this calibrating plate helps us to understand the size and measure it correctly, specifically after the detection has been done and the shape of the grain has been segmented. So now we are moving towards the benchmark and what we have in our initial setup. So it's 1,228 grains. At the same time, I must say that if you will check again the photo back, it's not always the whole grain, sometimes it's half of the grain. So let's say this image is just the demonstration of capabilities. So we are not speaking about the assessment of the quality of this grain, because obviously some of these grains are artificially cut because of the screen dimension and the imagery. But our goal was to bring this big number and to try to force model to count it correctly and provide the measurements correct. So, and also we have measured the width and width and length, sorry, no height in kernels. And so you can see the basic numbers, and additionally, these measurements were verified by human. And you can even suggest, who is this human? Yes, this was me. And also, we have a separate imagery which demonstrates the segmentation. So you can see the three kernels which were not properly cleaned from the husk. So that's why it's not counted as the grain, which is similar to those kernels which has been counted. So that's why everything is verified, and we don't have any false in this case. Then what's next? Next we have, as I mentioned, we send this input of image and prompt to the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has demonstrated quite good level of accuracy in terms of counting, as well as appropriate level of measurements. So at the same time, it all depends. So if you will give the same task to ChatGPT, it all depends on your own, let's say, threshold which you have and benchmark which you have, because for some experiments and cases, like 75% is okay of accuracy, I mean. But for other cases, even 95 is not enough. So that's why, it depends on what is your expectation. But ChatGPT was pretty long thinking, but the result was impressive. At the same time, I also asked about the area, and the area of grain was not correct. So this means that the area was calculated not in accordance with the irregular shape of the wheat kernel, but it was calculated based on some traditional approach of using the oval area calculation, I suggest. I don't know what's under the behind the screen in ChatGPT, and yes, it's always you can check the thinking process, but I mean that, so with area it was not so good, but with counting and the dimensions it was fine. Next one, Gemini. Also very impressive results. Specifically, later I will show you, it's about the visualization, because other models, they don't provide any type of visual proof what have been done. But in Gemini, they have shown the detection, and also they have shown the logic of their processes. And yes, the accuracy was quite okay. The error with the benchmark and the actual measurement was less than how many percent? Just give me a second. So if we have 102 or 1228 kernels, and then they showed 115, so it's less than 1%, I think, or not. It's very difficult to count. I mean, but still the accuracy is good and acceptable. Yes, and regarding the width and length, all the models, they provide the reasoning. Why are they counting in that way? So this is the problem of all the models which we have tested, that all reasoning, when you are reading it, it sounds like you're very smart, but then we got different numbers at the end. So that's why in our case we have measured and checked at least, but and we have the CSV file of all these 1228 kernels, so we can see the average and understand the allocation of sizes, but in case with the models, it's not clear why this specific number was selected as, or even in this case we have the numbers, but for example in the next case, for example in Copilot we had the range of numbers, so that's why, a little bit hidden. So Gemini is nice, and we will show the, maybe I can show it now, the visualization. Here you see, it's, yes, I know that in terms of the right comparison, we need to have the same colors and like similar before and after. At the same time, I decided not to not to demonstrate the Photoshop skills and not to do everything. I just put raw imagery to show you how it looks like, and that's it. And this is about the segmentation from PTL Pro and from Gemini. And we have our instant segmentation. That's why you can see the red grain. And sometimes it looks like, it's kind of like treated kernels, but it's not treated. It's the specific how the computer vision can do this detection now. So you don't need the bounding boxes anymore, like the squares, or not squares, but rectangles. At the same time, you can do the shape of the object which you are segmenting. Yes, this was Gemini. Good. Now we have Claude. Interesting, nice, accuracy, not clear why, but it was kind of half of what we have. Like the top tier was 520, and in comparison with 1228, it's even less than half. So not very clear why we have this, but the overall width and length calculations was within the range, so we don't have some weird numbers. Copilot. Regarding Copilot, again, the count is from nowhere because I don't know where the number is between 200 and 270. It's low number, so it's even if you are visually assessing the kernels, you even counting, I understand it will take like 20 minutes, I think, at least, to count them and do these dots, not to lose, not to do double count, but it's obviously more than 200, but the model says this. And regarding the width and length, again, the result is quite accurate and good. Qwen 3.5, and this is the model which is not actually so popular and mainstream yet, because it's kind of like you need to know the topic to be to know that Qwen exists, because if you ask someone outside what is ChatGPT or what is Gemini, you will get the answer probably, because it's everything which is popular and in massive use. But Qwen is one of the models which are a little bit niche. At the same time, the performance of this model is good in terms of how they work. And again, you can upload this model and do some sandpit play at your own local device. So this is the brilliance of this model, that you can do some practice within your local environment. And if you will go to the Hugging Face, where I tried this model to answer to our questions, you can see that it's one of the top models, specifically for the task when we have the imagery and we would like to get some textual output of this imagery. Image to text, as I remember it's called. Yes, and then additionally I demonstrated these photos of Gemini. And final point is the summary of the models. So as you already have heard that ChatGPT and Gemini, they demonstrated accurate result on the counting. So if you have any one photo where you need to count something, it's always an opportunity for you to do this using the AI capabilities, and then obviously you can do the manual count and visual count with your eyes and hands, and just double check to make this human verification. At the same time, what we see that the performance is good and reliable in this case of counting specifically grades. At the same time, what I want to ask about, say about the batch processing. Batch processing, I mean when you have not just one photo, but 21 photo or maybe 101 photo. This is the brilliance of models like PTL Pro, which we have done, which we have created, because for us it doesn't matter are we working with just one photo or more than one. But with publicly available models, this is the problem, because you cannot guarantee the same accuracy on each photo. And you need to, again, depending on the accuracy which you're expecting. So if the accuracy low, not low, but 75, it's pretty low, let's say, accuracy is okay for you, then probably you can rely on the results from the public model. But if you require something which is more than 75, then obviously the customized and fine-tuned AI models are more reliable, and specifically for operational side and for production, for continuous use, not just for one time and forget. Yes, I think, and yes, maybe I have something else to show you, just a second. Oh yeah, this is the same which I have already said to you now. I will just explain it in one paragraph. So we will continue. This is the end of today's I Asked AI. We will continue delivering interesting experiments and counting and measurements to show you the strongest and weakest points of existing models. However, I see how the progress is moving fast, so we will try to keep you updated regarding how this progress can serve you and your research, your business, your life for better. Thank you so much for your time, for your attention, and I will be glad to see you next time.